Hey everybody, welcome to another episode of the Couch Chat, and we have turned the calendar into November. I know, time is flying on by. Starting to feel like fall out there, that's for sure. So this past weekend, we of course had we began November with All Saints Day on Saturday, All Souls Day on Sunday, and hopefully you had an opportunity to visit a cemetery, visit your loved ones, pray at their graves. I know I got to go out to my grandparents' grave, which is at a cemetery just outside of Huntsville, Ohio there, right on 33. So still have 8 days to do that, or until November 8th, to gain that plenary indulgence to visit a cemetery here around All Souls Day. So just want to thank everybody who helped make a lot of things happen. We had a beautiful candlelit mass at Immaculate Conception to commemorate the faithful departed. So thanks everybody who helped with that. I just want to point your attention to a couple things coming up this weekend. So this weekend, there's the St. Martin pilgrimage that parishioner organized. They're going to have all sorts of great things. St. Martin is the patron saint of soldiers, and his feast day is actually Veterans Day also. So they're doing it a little bit early on a Saturday morning. Hopefully you've seen stuff in the bulletin. If not, go back and flip the last week's bulletin to see what's going on. So it'll be out at St. John, starting after Mass, or maybe even conjoining it with Mass. So that'll be this Saturday out at St. John, the St. Martin pilgrimage. Thanks to everybody who put that on. I know there's a lot of hard work's gone into that. Also this Sunday, we've got a unique thing happening at Mass. You know, last week we didn't have a Sunday in ordinary time, right? We weren't wearing green. It was All Souls Day, that trumped it. This upcoming Sunday, that happens again. So this upcoming Sunday is the feast of the dedication of St. John Lateran. You think, what does that even mean? Where is that church? St. John Lateran, believe it or not, is the cathedral of the Diocese of Rome. So you might be thinking, wait a minute, isn't St. Peter's Basilica the cathedral of the Diocese of Rome? That's the one you see pictures of the Pope celebrating Mass in, the one that's over the tomb of St. Peter, and even the one that's got the big square out front of it. No, that's actually not the cathedral of the Diocese of Rome. St. John Lateran is, which is in a different part of the city, not too far. You can make it in a walk if you're able to walk a few miles. So it's dedicated to St. John the Baptist and St. John the Apostle, the beloved disciple, gospel writer. So both St. John's there, the Baptist and the evangelist. And then it's on the Lateran Hill, which is why it gets the name St. John Lateran. And there was a Lateran family that had a palace there, donating land, all that sort of stuff. So it's called St. John Lateran. So the chair there is the throne, the cathedral of the Pope, or the cathedra, his cathedra chair inside his cathedral. So throughout the world, in the Roman Catholic Church, because that is the mother church of the Diocese of Rome, Rome is the mother diocese for the entire world, we're going to celebrate that feast day this Sunday. One other thing that happens this Sunday is we're going to take up a second collection for the Archdiocese of the military services. So every 3 years, throughout the United States, we take up a collection to support the Archdiocese of the military service. And that might be a little strange because sometimes we think a diocese is a local church, right? The Diocese of Columbus, Archdiocese of Cincinnati, Toledo, Fort Wayne, whatever. It's like a local area, but the military service, that's everywhere. Like, what in the world are we doing here? So the Archdiocese of the military services works in conjunction with the different branches of the armed services. So the Coast Guard, the Navy, the Army, Space Force actually, also the Marines, to staff chaplains and all of the things that need to go with the care of souls, with whether it's Catholics, whether it's their families who are on base, off base, all those sorts of things, to make sure the needs of Catholic soldiers are provided for. And so they staff these chaplaincies wherever the U.S. military is, whether that's a base in Japan, whether it's Wright Pat Air Force Base, wherever it is. The Archdiocese of the military services is responsible for the care of those souls, much like a parish would be, right? To form these families and all the unique things that military families go through. So it's always, it's unique for them to get funding, and so we as the church throughout the United States pitch in to help out. So every 3 years we take up this nationwide collection to support them. And just thank you for your generosity. I know a number of people who've benefited from these chaplaincies. who have benefited from the role of priests and the role of the lay people who help out at the different chapels on bases. So that's this upcoming weekend. We've got the second collection, we've got the St. Martin feast day, and of course we're celebrating the anniversary of the dedication of St. John Lateran. So have a great day, and we'll see you next week on The Couch Chat. Coffee is so good. Thank you, God, for coffee.